Good morning and welcome to the 7th April Java with Josh. We are starting something new today. We're going to be doing a CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner certification study session for the next several weeks, maybe a couple months. Might take this and really deep dive and make sure that if you want to get ready for this certification, you have the tools to do so. Speaking of which, to launch this whole thing off, I have had the wonderful partnership with Pact because I started reviewing a few books and they reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to review another book?" And I did. And they said, "Do you want another book?" And now I've got a mini library in my office of great Pact books, including ones from Gerald Dozier and Jack Scott, and also my friend and colleague Alexi Ahmed, Hackersploit, who also works at INE with me. And they sent me this Mark Birch's CASP certification guide. It's for the CAS-004. And today we have the honor of having Mark with us today. Mark, I'm going to bring you in now, sir.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I know it's a little later there. You want to tell everyone where you're calling in from?
Yeah, I'm currently in Scotland. I live up in Scotland. I'm not Scottish, but yeah, I'm just north of Edinburgh. That's where I'm at the moment.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. So, Mark, this book, what drove you to initially writing this book? What's kind of your background?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for a number of years, and I've done a bunch of different roles, and from the early days, first line support and all this, and later and later, I've got more into education and helping them to pass on skills. So I've ended up delivering a bunch of material, from CompTIA to Microsoft to Citrix and a whole bunch of stuff. And I kind of specialize in this area for the last 10 years or so. So I've been delivering the CASP, and it just gets to the point where you think, hey, you know what? I could probably do a better job here. I could probably put that material together in a much better package. I know what the students want. It's not, I don't have anyone to promote. I'm not tied to any one company, so it's a bit easier. I thought I'd just put something together to help people, get through this stuff and pass it, and hopefully add some interesting stuff into the material as well.
Awesome. I love it. That speaks to my heart as well, Mark. So, for those in the audience who don't know, what is CASP about?
Yeah, well, I did prepare a little presentation on that. So, if that's okay with you, I'll maybe just drop
great.
them slide decks into the session here. So let me just.
Sounds good. Here, I'll
bring that in. Across okay.
Perfect. Over there.
Yeah. So here we go. Bit of an overview, really. So who's it for? It's performance based, and what you'll probably find is if you go out there, people will compare it with CISP, CISSP,
Sure.
and there's quite a few similarities, isn't there? But the fact is, this is more for practical people. So I'm saying, look, it's hands on, it's performance based. Expect some problems to solve. Expect some performance based questions as well. But it's about, like, I was kind of putting it like this: managers identify what we need. But from a practical point of view, your CASP, your certified professional, they're going to figure out how to do it. They're going to have the heads, they're going to have their hands on. They're going to be more practical. So it's managers who want to be practical, you've got to say. So it's about that. It's architecture, engineering. So it's not just about policies and high level stuff. So it's, that's where we're at with that.
Awesome.
Opportunities. It's if you want to be a security engineer, senior security engineer, you're going to manage within the security operations center. I mean, these are some of the roles that CompTIA are putting out there that this was designed for. So again, it's more about that. If you're interested in technology, then this is maybe the one for you, rather than some of the more the more managerial type ones. And if you're a DoD, you're probably very interested in this, because this is recognized, of course, government and within the military. I'm just saying this is going to open up the door for a few different careers. You can see it does actually meet the DoD approved baseline, so useful for that as well.
That's huge.
And if you're kind of pitching where this sits, I mean, you can see in the CompTIA kind of overview here, it is definitely pitched up there as one of the higher level ones.
Whoa.
So yeah, that's where you're at. I mean, if you want to go somewhere, you've done your cybersecurity analyst certification, you've done your pen test, or maybe you've not come through this pathway. Certified ethical hackers are probably going to be interested as well.
EJPT.
So, and just as a heads up, it does cover 4 domains. You've got quite a lot of objectives, and I'm not going to put those up. I mean, obviously, sure, if you want the objectives, go check out the CompTIA site. The point-by-point objectives are there. But
I'll hit that next week. I promise.
It's about security architecture. So you've got a bunch of stuff on there about analyzing. I mean, the tip is, if you know where things go, you're onto a bit of a winner here. So part of it is that it's understanding, hey, what is a router go? Where should I put my network intrusion prevention system? Where would that web application firewall go? What would that do for me? So there's a lot of that in the architecture. So I guess people who have the heads on with networking stuff will probably be pretty good on this stuff as well. Right. So yeah, architecture, also security, that's a big thing as well. So it's going to build on the back of anybody who's studied for Sec Plus. You can probably find you've got a lot of skills here. You understand some of the underlying security. So there's that. You've got security operations, and that's looking things like vulnerability assessments, understanding your SCAP tools, these types of things. Taking baselines, benchmarks. So there's that content. You've got security engineering, cryptography. A lot of it's cloud-based as well. I mean, I think it's really interesting stuff, because it really does go into all those areas, within a hybrid big enterprise network, dealing with mobility, remote access, cloud, it's all part of that. So that's a big part of it as well. So 4 domains is going to break that down. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to take away from what you're going to do, because obviously you're going to be giving this kind of material out anyway. But for those that don't know, it is a 90 question exam potentially. It's 2 hours 45 minutes. That for those that are not too good on the mathematics, that's 165 minutes. So it's tricky. The questions are more long-winded. So if you're more, if you've done your like a Network Plus or a Sec Plus, the questions tend to be a little bit longer, a little bit more thought-provoking. Hence the extra time that you get. It's a weird one as well. It's also you don't actually get a score. It's pass or fail. Let's hope it's pass. Right. But that's the way that is. Cost-wise, it's not too bad when you look at some of the other ones. Again,
no,
for those that
it's the most expensive CompTIA exam, I think, but that's reasonable for a lot of people, especially if they're in a career advancing, right?
Exactly. Again, stuff that you probably want to know if you've spent your hard-earned cash on that. I mean, I'd say check that out. Check out the continuing education. I forget the cost. Is it something like $50 a year? And it's not bad, is it? Because instead of you kind of have to research and pay out your $400-$500 to take that test, just keep that up to date. And you're probably the guy, actually, aren't you? Because you're going to point people in the direction of more free training to clock up those hours. So, of course, that's what that's all about, isn't it? I mean,
Gerald Ozier's First Things First. I know he's done the due diligence and confirmed that people can get hours watching his daily show where he covers cyber news. And I'm going to connect with him and make sure that we can do something similar here. I want people to be able to say, hey, I was in all these study sessions and here's the thing. But I'm going to check with the PhD and make sure that that is correct before I tell people to do it. But yes, it's huge.
Yeah, bit of course promotion here, bit of book promotion. I tell you what, I'll probably leave it on the cover. But if you look in the book, I mean, you can go and check it out on Amazon anyway. You can see what's included. But we've got 15 chapters to cover the material, and we've got more questions. So I kind of cut to the chase on that one. You've got so you got 140 mock questions on the site now. If you're looking in the book, you'll have a link to that. It'll tell you where to go and get the questions, but it is available for you anyway. You don't have to buy the book if you look at the website there. There's 100 mock questions in the back of the book. So you notice that and quite a lot of practice questions. So it is very much geared up for people who do want to certify. It's not just a technical textbook trying to show how much I know about security. It's geared up for people who actually want to go and pass the test. So plenty of questions. I mean, resources, I'll leave to you. You're doing your thing. I'm sure you're going to share your resources with people anyway. But from my point of view, check out the site. Plenty of free questions on there if that's what you want. Again, you don't want to pay for the stuff, do you? So you don't want to go and pay for a whole bunch of measure up tests or something like that when you can go and grab some for free, which is exactly what I'm giving you there.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those. And I'll make sure I've thrown them in the chat and on YouTube for people. So, but we'll include that. I'll put those in the notes below for all the lessons going forward. As well as a link to the book where people can buy it. For those who are watching, we are going to do a couple giveaways. We'll do that in a few minutes. But Mark, what's the best way to study for this? Should they just dive into the book? Is it some hands-on? And kind of what's required? Or what do you think people should have in order to get the best out of this book?
What I would say is a lot of it is concepts. A lot of it is kind of a bit of exploration. So, you're reading through the cloud stuff. I mean, you've got access to the internet. You can probably figure a lot of this stuff out yourself. Maybe sign up, free accounts if you want to go and check out what's in the cloud there, Amazon Web Services, Azure. I mean, you can sign up, can't you, and have a bit of a dig around. But it's some of the commands. I'd say, just check out, have a build of Kali. That's what I say. It's you've probably got what you need in there to go and figure out and test some of the commands out, some of the, the pen testing type scenarios. Now, it does touch on that a little bit. You're expected to understand, what a network enumerator is. What does Nmap do, as opposed to what does Wireshark do? So,
yeah, that was covered in Security Plus even. So that's
exactly,
right?
Exactly. But again, you've got a decent Kali build. You can check out most of those tools on there. But as far as study, I mean, the way that I do a lot of classes for the Army or for the military. I'm working on the DoD program, and we get students for 2 weeks. So it's generally I'd spend a week just deep dive. Look at the material, go through the book. On the back of it, students normally take about 35 hours, let's say, studying then, actually, smashing through a bunch of mock questions and testing your understanding. So that's the kind of time I would work on. Obviously, if you don't have a couple of weeks just to give up, it's a matter of spreading it out, isn't it? So maybe you give yourself 80 hours or something like that. It's a reasonable amount of study.
Nice. So we've got a couple questions from the audience. Someone asked, Jason Frank asked, the opinion between CASP and CISP. You kind of covered the differences. Do you think, is this a one versus the other sort of certification? I've seen that a lot, but what's your take?
I don't think so. I think it does complements it. People do. I get a lot of people who say, "I'm going to do this. It's going to be useful. I want to do the hands-on kind of side of things as well." They'll find a lot of stuff that we cover would actually be very appropriate for CISP as well. So,
right.
You might find that one leads on to the other one.
Awesome. Chris Frazier asked, with your experience Do you need to wait for the minimum 10 years to take the exam? Is there a hard requirement of
No,
proving that you've got so much time in the field, or can anyone
no.
technically go out and take CASP?
Yeah, exactly. There's like some of the other kind of bodies, the regulatory, the exam kind of promoters, they insist upon certain things that they know it's not. I mean, literally, I mean, not that I'd advise it. I mean, you could walk in off the street and do the certification. There's no requirements. It's just a
Sure.
suggestion. It's aimed at people with a bit of experience within the industry. But
Yeah,
if you,
that'll make it easier
exactly,
if they've done some things, and that's kind of who it's targeted to, and the language and the expectations.
yeah,
Is that
exactly.
pro? Uh, Duffster asked, I passed my CISP in December. How much duplication in CASP? And I think you kind of covered that. There's going to be some overlap just because that's how security works. But do you think it's still worthwhile, depending on where he's at in his career?
Um, Yeah, sorry. Yeah, quite possibly. Again, check out the objectives, and you will find some of those domains. There is. I mean, I haven't done a point by point comparison. People have.
Sure, sure.
If you go and do a bit digging around, you probably see it. But there is quite a lot of overlap, I'd say. So whether you're going from CASP to CISP or vice versa, I think you'll find you've got a lot of the skill set already.
Right. And you train USDOD, and there's that 8570 requirement. They both fulfill the same IAT and IAM levels, do they not? Is it
Um,
a
Yeah, it depends where you are. I mean, for
sure?
the tech level,
Hmm.
you're the same. For the management level, we're not quite the same. So you're right. You're right. There is a
Gotcha,
slight
gotcha.
difference. Yeah, check it out. Depending on where you want to be. It's management level 2 is where the CAS will take you.
Hmm. Okay. So Tai Kwang Gong asked that question: is CASP a management cert? Kind of covered that. It's an advanced technical cert. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
yeah, I would say so. That would be about right.
Uh, Devnal Zen asked, how much crossover is there between CASP and ISACA's CSXP? I'm less familiar with that one. I don't know if you've come across it.
Uh, I'm gonna have to hold my hands up.
Sure.
It's not. I've not looked at the main differences there. I'm afraid no.
Yeah. I I kind of figure if someone needs 8570, then they should be able to know how to get to the 8570 page and see the charts and make sure that
Exactly.
whatever role they're going to is covered. But um this one, straightforward advanced security practitioner. That's why I'm excited to get into it, help people level up a little bit. Mark, I know you've got a class today and you're actually on your lunch break. Is there anything else you wanted to let everyone know I'm gonna before I take too much more of your time? I'm gonna stop myself, and um but is there anything you want to leave people with?
Uh, yeah, I mean, obviously, look, you're going to run the sessions and all the rest of it. But if anybody wants to look for extra material, check out the site. Keep an eye on that. I'm kind of keep adding to that. I'm going to add some performance-based questions to that as well. So I'm putting those
Awesome.
together. So hopefully within the next, let's say, week, 2 weeks, I'll try and put something that's representative of the performance questions. Obviously, NDAs and all that, we can't, I can't share certain things, but I can point you in
Yep.
the right direction and tell you what to study. Um, I'll be putting fresh questions up as and when as well. So keep an eye on the site. Obviously, keep an eye on LinkedIn if you want to, ping me for anything. I'm
Oh, sounds
around.
good. Yeah.
But
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Mark. You have a
okay.
good one.
Well, good luck. Okay, thank
And
you very much for
I'll
having me.
be in touch.
All right.
If you want to get Mark's socials, he is on LinkedIn. Throw that exclamation point guest. Thanks, Chris, for doing that. Um, Mark mentioned that the best way to prepare for this, for the technical part, is all you need is a Kali Linux box. I kind of wanted to take you all through the easy way of getting Kali Linux, and they've made it fairly straightforward. So if you Google Kali, that's really all that's required nowadays. Kali Linux, you're going to get taken to kali.org, and there's a lot of information here, but eventually we want the get Kali. And there's many different ways of doing this. There's bare metal virtual machines, which is what I would suggest you do. So if you want to do any of those other things, if you're an advanced person and you know what you're doing, go for it. If you're working up to it, grab a virtual machine. And you can go to virtualbox.com or VMware and grab the VMware player for free or VirtualBox for free. Then you just download this image and import it in. I've got a video showing how to do it. There's tons and tons of videos of showing you how to set up a Kali box. If you want to be able to do it, just Google it. I promise. I hate telling people just to Google it, but you're gonna find exactly what you want if you do that, and it's gonna be better than me walking you through it now. I've done it before. So you can go to the Joshua 17 SC YouTube page, and I've got one there. I wanted to jump on this this giveaway. So Chris, I've got it all set up, but we will be giving away an ebook of Mark's certification guide. And that's let's get that going. Meow. I'll start it going. So you should see that now. And afterwards, you need to be in Discord, and you'll hit up Net Fraser on the Cyber and Security Discord page when you are picked as the winner. So some people have asked me, you're an INE pen testing instructor. Why are you covering CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner? And we don't have yet a certification for engineering. Our good friend Brian Olive and my colleague is working on that right now. And as soon as INE has that, I'm going to be all over preaching and sharing that within what I'm allowed to do. And I want to direct everyone to the free training that we've been working on at INE, as well as any free training. Like Mark's page, CASP.training, has tons of useful information. If you're not at that level, if you are new to this, CASP might not be for you yet. I would suggest looking at EJPT, maybe looking at Security Plus. If you have the means and ability, GSEC is supposed to be good. I haven't done it myself, though I can't say, but that is an option out there. There are many options out there. So however you want to get into it, I'm partial to INE and EJPT. And we just did 6 weeks of the penetration testing student labs. Take this opportunity also to talk about the cyber and security channel. So tomorrow, Neil Bridges is going to be doing Tea with a Hacker, same time on Fridays. It is his open AMA stream, and you'll see me in the chat as a moderator. Tomorrow night, Jack Reedy, also my boss at INE, is running his Tipsy Cyber. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Cyber and Security channel. Follow it up. You're probably going to see DJ BSAC up on his Twitch channel. We're looking at bringing back Mondays and Wednesdays when it hits, when it makes sense. We've got some exciting things in the works, but Tuesday next week is going to be another Python session with Brett Eskridge, PhD, professor of cybersecurity, or a professor of computer science for over a decade, teaching in the classroom Python, and he is giving that same course for free Tuesday nights on the Cyber and Security channel. Then finally, wrapping it back up, Wednesday nights with Brandon Krieger, covering daily cyber news and AMA, and his take as a cyber analyst. So we've got a lot going on here. Also, you might be watching me streaming right now on the Simply Cyber channel. Thank you, Jerry, for teaming up with me on that one, or on Jerry's LinkedIn. If you are watching that and you're like, where is all this stuff that he's talking about, the guest commands and the giveaways? Those are happening on the Cyber and Security YouTube channel. So jump over there, and I can't send you the link right now because I don't have the chat functionality with all the places that we're broadcasting. That's why we do everything in YouTube and drive people there. So next week we are going to dive into, I'm going to take an interesting approach at this. I don't have Mark's materials. I wouldn't get Mark's materials. He has those for his business and his courses. Instead, I'm going to build some light stuff and kind of take you through how I'm going to study for this. There are a bunch of great questions at the end of each chapter, and there is a final question at the end, or a couple mock tests at the end of the book. I'm going to look at that and build out some things that I think make sense as someone who's studying and wants to share that with someone else. If you want to take the exam, I suggest you get a book. I'll tell you, this is available on O'Reilly Books if you have access. If you are U.S. military, go check out my LinkedIn post the other day. You can get access through the MWR library through Military OneSource to O'Reilly Books, which has this book and thousands of others for almost every certification you want. Again, for U.S. veterans, I don't know about the others. Unfortunately, I don't have that experience, so I can't tell you. But it looks like our giveaway has timed out. So I'm going to pick a winner. And Rob Dalton. Rob Dalton is the winner. If you could hit Net Frazier on Discord and get him your contact info, then he'll pass to me and I'll get it to Pact, and we will get you your book. Let me know if they hit you up, Chris. Otherwise, what other questions do you guys have about this exam? There's a few things that I think are interesting. What we'll start out with is architecture, and it's going to be a lot of you might think of it as hardware. It's going to be switches, routers, firewalls, IPS, IDS, getting all the way into machine or hardware security modules. So it goes deep. It goes deep. There's going to be a lot. I've read ahead quite a bit because, again, I want to make this seem like it's a study session, not just me teaching. If you want to go teach, there are great places to do that. I have not seen very many places on YouTube yet covering CAS-004, which CAS-003 just finished on Tuesday. So 004 is the only CASP exam you can now take. And this is one of the few books out there on 004. Even the CompTIA official book doesn't come out until August. So get up for that. Again, if you want a link to the book and the discount, throw in !book. That's 25% off either the ebook or the hard copy or the combination of the two. I do believe my contact at PAC put that together for you guys. I want to make this as useful for you. So if you want to interact with me, I am usually on the Cyber Insecurity Discord channel. Actually, I'm almost always on the Cyber Insecurity Discord channel. And if you have questions about the study sessions, if you have questions about the book, if you have questions about any of this, feel free to hit me up over there. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. I will respond, but I usually do my chit chat over on the Discord channel. Chris, did Rob Dalton get back to you? Sweet. Then we're going to give away a hardcover workbook, and this one's for US only. Pact is willing to ship it anywhere in the US, so it's US only. I'm sorry about that. If you're outside of the US, skip this one. Sorry. I will have things for you like tomorrow with Tea with a Hacker. But what other questions do you all have? Thanks. There were a lot of questions about comparisons with CISP. I have my CISP. I've had it for a little while now. And looking at this book, looking at the material, listening to what CompTIA has put out on the instructor network, it's very, very different. CISP really covers a lot of high level. If you're going to be a CISO, however you want to pronounce it, what should you be thinking about? Given this information from the CEO, what decisions are you going to make? With CASP, it's a lot more at a technician level. So you want to protect against this thing. How are you going to do it? Not how are you going to come up with a strategy or a policy or guidelines in order to do it, but how are you going to get on the keyboard and do it yourself? How are you going to implement NIST 853 as a practitioner, not as a policy creator? So that's kind of the differences there. Delete that one. That was what was going on. Sorry, running the giveaway. I set that for a 30-minute timer. 1 second. Do this live. How about we do a 5-minute timer? There we go. CASP hard copy going now. With that practitioner is your engineer. So you could be a SOC analyst. You could be a penetration tester. You might be just thinking about now things from an engineering perspective. So if you were going to put things into place, actually write the scripts, actually write the commands, make the group policy, make the YARA rules, what would that look like? I'm going to do as best I can teaching you that information over these study sessions. I've had some experience here and there, but it's going to be a little learning experience for both of us. I've done more blue, I've done more red, and I've done more CISP. So it'll be interesting. It is going to be learning for me, and it's going to be learning for you. And that's, truth be told, my favorite way of kind of teaching things if I'm not getting paid for it, which is fine. All right, giveaway is running. So some people have asked what's happening with EJPT, and I just want to say that it is running and things are planned, and the release should be coming up soon. Nathan Bolin just asked, is this a follow-on from CYSA? So in CompTIA's roadmap, CYSA does come before CASP, and I think it's only because CYSA is very specific to the analyst role. So you dive into things like Splunk and elk stacks and SIEMs, running alerts, and playbooks. CASP doesn't go into those things because that was covered in CYSA. It also doesn't get into the steps of a penetration test. Like that's in Pentest Plus, which I have the material for Pentest Plus. I've taught it in the past. There's a reason I wrote EJPT and alongside Alexi and focused on that. In case you're curious what I think is better for you as a student. But sorry, don't mean to throw shade, but I picked a winner. So CASP is going to be different. It's the things that aren't covered there. It's going to be implementation and understanding. Okay, if we had these alerts, if the pen tester found these things, what are we going to do to fix it? You get a pen test report turned over to you, and it says, hey, we were able to breach the firewall. We were able to get these credentials. It's like, oh, so you need to reset credentials. You need to put in multi-factor authentication rules for your users and your services. How are you going to do that as a security engineer? Do you know? I've got an idea, but we'll look at it for real. If you want to follow along during the sessions, I'm going to have a Kali box. You should have a Kali box, or some sort of VM in order to actually play with some of these things. So that's going to be a part of the study session. This is if you are interested in more of that blue and more of that CYSA. I know Jack was covering Boss of the Sock on Tipsy Cyber, and then on Jack of All Trades on his Monday night show on Twitch, and diving deep into that blue, that threat hunting, that finding IOCs, that Wireshark investigation. Jack's got that covered for you. And on the certification side, INE does have forensic investigator certifications, and Jason has made some great content for you over on that side. I think they are also still looking for another blue team instructor. So if anyone is advanced in their blue team skills and wants to train the next generation, someone who's done incident response in the cloud, that'd kind of be a shoo-in for you if you can explain what you did and why you did it. It's kind of what we're looking for. Again, currently, CompTIA has a not a monopoly, but they've got a good setup for 8570, and or 8570 works well for CompTIA. So if you are going down that route, unfortunately, currently, the INE certs won't get you your requirements for 8570 yet. But the CompTIA ones will. So for now, that is useful if you're trying to get a higher level or more advanced role with the US DoD or with the US government and need those 8570 requirements. I think CompTIA is the cheaper option for getting your foot in the door on a lot of that. And is it really... Winner was Ron Clark. Is that the same winner for the last one? No, Rob Dalton. Okay. Ron Clark, congratulations. They're very similar names. Ron, Rob. So, Ron Clark. Not, yeah, you might need to refresh because I'm seeing all this stuff come across. Test. Well, Ron, if you can jump onto Discord and connect with Nat Fraser. There it is. Streamlabs dropped it. Then you can get set up, and just going to need, I think, an email address from you, or hard copy. Gonna need your address. So send it to Chris, and he'll get it to me, and I'll get it to Pact. With that, I've had a crazy day. Sick dog, sick kid. It's been a crazy week, and it was pouring rain earlier. So I'm actually going to make this shorter than it has been in the past. Once I know that Ron has made contact with Chris, that's probably going to be the end of today's show. But again, want to thank Pact for sponsoring all of this. Grab your discount code. It is only good for today. So !book. And that will get you your code. I believe it's 25 CTIA JWJ. Sounds like 25%. CompTIA and Java with Josh. I think that's how they came up with that code, but it works. And again, this is not sponsorship of CompTIA. This is sponsorship with Pact to share with you some free material. And Mark shared some useful stuff, CASP.training, and I will put those in the show notes. If you're watching this later, you will see those links below. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Hope to see you tomorrow on Tea with a Hacker. Right after this at 10, so I guess not right after, Gerald Ozier, PhD, is going to be doing First Things First. And then this afternoon, he's, I think, running through how to be a SOC analyst. Is that today? Jack Scott has I'll call him my friend, Christian Espinoza, my mentor, someone I look up to, a great cybersecurity leader who has written an amazing book on empathy and how to be a good human being in cybersecurity, how to hire good human beings, and how to foster good human beings in cybersecurity. Another Academy grad, and love his content. He is going to be on Jack Scott's Outpost Create a Day. Devin Jackson also has a great guest this evening at 6 on Alpha InfoSec. And he's a great content creator. I highly suggest checking him out. Thursdays, I hope you come here, hope as a lead off for an amazing day of cybersecurity streams. With that, just checking, got the second winner info. That's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Just check, no more questions. I don't see any questions in chat on YouTube. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you again, Mark, for being here, and thank you, Pact, for providing the codes and the books. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.